say 2 or 3 o'clock on the oyster itself to come in through there. Restaurants will always come into the hinge. They always open them up through here and work their way up. It's a lot harder to do it like that, but the reason they do that is it doesn't damage the shell, and they rely on using that shell for presentation when it's on your plate. Obviously out here, presentation is not a big issue for us, so I'm going to go the easy option. So it's just a matter of getting the gap between the two shells. It's a bit of a contradiction in terms, but gently force the knife in there. Once you're in there, simply slide the blade along the bottom edge of this top shell to cut through the muscle, and the whole thing should just come straight open in your hands like that. Out here as well, guys, feel free to flick the shells over the side of the boat. They'll just rumble around with the wave action and top them, but eventually grind themselves back into sand again. But now a quick biology lesson in oysters for you all. Now, if we drain the water out to make it easier. Alright, first of all, you've got the big round muscle you can see right here in the middle. Okay, so right in here. Now there's two different colours to that muscle. There's a dark part in the middle and a white part on the outside. The part in the middle is the spring part of the muscle. That's the opening muscle that wants to hold the oyster open the whole time so it can feed. The white part around the outside is the closing muscle, and that's the part that we want to try and strengthen out by having the oysters coming in and out the water the whole time. If you look around the outside of the oyster is what we call the frill. Now the frill is effectively the mouth or the filter of the oyster, if you like. Pacific oysters are actually filter feeders, so they'll pump about 8 litres of water and out of themselves, continually just cycling it through. Any algae or plankton that's in the water that they can feed on gets caught in that frill and then gets digested as it makes way down towards the main belly or the main body of the oyster, if you like. This frill can vary quite considerably in colour. This one's obviously quite clear with a few black lines in it, a bit of a brown tinge to it. That can be black, grey, brown, white, clear. Makes no difference at all to the taste of the oyster. All that does is really shows you how much food the oyster's caught over the last few hours. If we have a bit of a look in through here now, we'll sort of dig that out a bit. What you're going to find is lots of little layers of fleshy, flappy bits in there. Now, like all living organisms, oysters have to breathe oxygen, and they have to get the oxygen out of the water. Fish do the same thing by using gills. Oysters don't have gills. These little fleshy, flappy things there have got about an 18-syllable name. I'm not even try and pronounce it for you. So for all intents and purposes, we just call them oyster breathy bits. Okay, so very, very technical there. Now, that obviously doesn't look very appetising, not what you'd normally see when you went to a restaurant to see them. What the restaurants do is to slice the muscle that attaches to the bottom shell there, to sort of get the whole thing clear of the oyster, and the whole thing then just gets flipped over what we call the presentation side of the oyster. Okay, so it looks a lot nicer like that. You can't see all the breathy bits there. I never used to do it myself on here. I used to always just leave them half-shelled with them attached to the shells. The idea was to try and bite them off as you go. But obviously having a lot of people on here that had never eaten oysters before, people started trying to eat the shells and all sorts of stuff, and so we got that away pretty quickly, and now I flip them over as a matter of course. Now, the shell itself, speaking of that, obviously a real dish shape to it, and the idea of that is to try and trap water inside.